the organ system occurring as a result of the disease process. So these pathological changes can be divided into two gross parts. One is morphology or gross changes, and another is microscopic changes. So one is macroanatomical change, which we can see with our naked eyes. That is called the gross changes, the gross appearance, the morphological changes, etc. And another is microanatomical changes, which we can see with the help of our microscope, low power or high power microscope. So these are called microscopic changes, histopathological changes, or microanatomical changes. So a disease, etiology, will give rise to different steps in order to produce a change in the organ, that is pathogenesis. And as a result of this, there will be a permanent change or temporary change in the organ. And so now there will be some changes in the organ which can be seen either by the naked eye, which is the macroanatomical changes, or gross changes, and something which we can see with microscope, that is the microscopic changes. So if anybody will ask, discuss the pathology of the disease. That means what are the changes that organ in that disease and what are the histopathology, what will be the microscopical changes, and what will be the naked eye changes. Both will comprise the pathology. So first the terminologies are etiology, then we are coming into pathogenesis, and now we are coming into pathology. So these three are the most important pillars of pathology, and then there will be some other features. We will discuss one by one. Clinical features. Clinical features, though it is a domain of clinical medicine or surgery or orthopedics, but still a pathologist must know what are the different changes in the organ will give rise to which symptom. Suppose we are thinking about tuberculosis, the etiology is again Mycobacterium tuberculosis. The pathogenesis is some immunological mechanism. The pathology will be there can be formation of a cavity in the lung, and if you take the microscopy you will see that there will be formation of a granulomatous inflammation. And now as a result of this cavitary lesion, there can be cough, there can be fever, there can be expectoration, and there can be also expectoration of blood-thin sputum, that is hemoptysis. So all these things can be possible. So these are the clinical features. So clinical features is also an important part of pathology training. Because if you do not know this thing, then you cannot suspect about the underlying pathology. So this is clinical features. Then complications. Complications means when the course of the disease will become severe, then there can be appearance of few additional organ changes or few additional clinical features. These are known as complications. Again, let us think about tuberculosis. Normal tuberculosis infection, usually it will give rise to fever, cough, expectoration, hemoptysis. But in some cases, it will give rise to accumulation of fluid in the pleural cavity, which is known as pleural effusion. So that is a complication of tuberculosis. So in this way, these type of problems can happen. Suppose we are thinking about myocardial infarction. Whenever there will be heart attack or myocardial infarction, then there will be acute chest pain, and then there can be respiratory distress, and then there will be sweating. All these features will be there. Heart failure, all these features will be there. But in some cases, there can be rupture of the heart wall with accumulation of blood within the pericardium, giving rise to a condition which is known as pericardial tamponade. So that is the complication. So similarly, a tuberculous lymph node, whenever normally it should be present as a swelling of the lymph node, along with or without fever. But in rare cases, it may burst open, and there can be formation of draining, discharging sinuses. These are the complications. So these way the complications will be changed. Next. What will be the outcome of the disease or course of the disease? Suppose I am suffering from a viral fever. I do not need any medication except some support. So normally my body will ultimately conquer that infection, and I will be by my own immune system, I will be get freed of that virus. And that is also occurring in corona. Majority of the cases, they know about this. Majority of the cases are improving without treatment. They do not know they have corona, but they are improving. So this is a common phenomenon. And again, on the other hand, you think about tuberculosis. Unless you give specific therapy, there will be gradual downhill course. The patient, you will lose the patient, but in a slow downhill manner. So these are the courses and outcome of the disease, and they are also different in different disorders. So again, we are repeating, these terminologies will come frequently. Number one is etiology. Number two is pathogenesis. Number three is pathology. And in pathology, there can be either gross changes or macroanatomical changes, microscopic changes or microanatomical changes. Then there will be clinical features. Then there will be complications. And finally, the outcome or course of the disease. Okay, thank you very much for patience.